Charles Evers from Student Health and Wellbeing, Michael Kaplan from the Counseling Center is with me today. Michael is here to talk about tips for handling test anxiety. Thanks so much for being here.
Good to be here. Thank you, Danielle.
So what is test anxiety and how common is it?
Test anxiety is something that can make you freeze up when taking an exam. It can make you forget what you know, and ultimately it can just make you do poorly on exams. And there's several things that go into it. Mentally, you might feel like you have a mental block, or some students say they have like scattered thoughts. Some people have very just kind of negative self-critical thoughts when they're feeling test anxiety. Physically, you might have butterflies in the stomach, you might feel shaky, sweaty palms, your leg might be bouncing uncontrollably, might even feel dizzy. Some students report that as well. And one of the behaviors that goes with test anxiety, unfortunately, is procrastination. It kind of makes sense if even thinking about an exam makes you feel some of those things that I just mentioned. You might want to avoid it, but of course, procrastination tends to make things worse because then you have even less time to prepare, and then the pressure is even greater. As far as how common test anxiety is, it's pretty common. According to the American Test Anxieties Association, more than 1/3 of students actually have test anxiety. So it's a pretty significant number.
What causes students to develop test anxiety?
There's a number of things that could cause it or contribute to it. I mean, certainly having poor testing experiences in the past can make you feel anxious. I think really the main thing though for a lot of students, it's a strong fear of failure, and that goes hand in hand with perfectionism. So if you're really focused on always getting an A, getting 100%, 4.0, creates a lot of pressure, and I think that that's a main contributor to test anxiety for a lot of students.
Then what are some ways to sort of conquer or ease test anxiety?
Well, the good news is there are a lot of ways. First one might seem obvious, but that's just prepare well for exams. Don't wait to the last minute. Have a plan for how you're going to study. Think about where you're going to study, when you're going to study. Ask for help if you need it. So preparing well is the main thing. But there's a lot of other things as well. Learning how to relax your body, both in the time leading up to an exam and even during. The most basic way to relax your body is through breathing. So there's something called belly breathing or diaphragmatic breathing, and that just means when you inhale, you direct the air all the way down to the belly. You don't keep it way up high in the chest. And you also try and slow it down. So like say a slow count of 4 for an inhale, and then an even slower count of 6 for an exhale. Lengthening the exhale is really helpful in triggering the relaxation response in your body. Also doing kind of structured relaxation. There's something called a body scan for relaxation. A lot of people are familiar with that, and you just kind of start at the top and work your way down, relaxing each part of the body as you go. There's a lot of narrations online for that. There are apps that can guide you through that. The Sandvello app is something that's free to MU students, so that can help with that. Practicing meditation can be very calming as well. MU offers free noontime meditation through Engage, the Engage website, so that's something that students might want to check out too. The last thing I'll mention as far as tools to ease test anxiety is adjusting your thinking. And by that I mean adjusting away from unhelpful thoughts. How you think affects how you feel. And a lot of times when students are feeling anxious, they're having unhelpful thoughts like negative fortune telling. I know I'm going to bomb this exam, something like that. I want to try and shift away from that to something more helpful, which might sound more like, I can't predict the future, so I can only control what I'm doing right now. And that can be more helpful, more calming. Another kind of thought that's very common is the what ifs. What if I freeze up? What if I get nervous? I'm going to try and shift away to that to something more like, well, if I get nervous, I can practice my belly breathing, I can relax my body. Something that's more encouraging, more calming. But shifting your thinking can be really important.